Hello everybody and welcome. This is Bird's Nest Designs. My name is Denise Cox, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Canada, and today I am here to show you yet another card that I'm creating using the Waves of Inspiration stamp set right here. This is a card created for my In Color Club. For Tahitian Tide is our focus. You can see I'm also using our Starry Sky in color. Now our club has already featured that, so I thought it was a really good way to tie both these beautiful blues together and create a really fun card. Now this Waves of Inspiration comes with the Waves dies as a bundle if you choose. We're not going to use these dies today, but what I have paired it with is these fabulous palms dies. And here's this big beautiful palm tree that I've cut here. So let's get ahead and just look at the different colors in the wave itself. And I'm going to show you a really quick and easy way to get that multicolored image from stamping it only once. All right, so if you're a member of my In Color Club and you're watching along, then you've got this prepared kit already for you. If not, and you'd like to create this card along with me, I'll give you the dimensions and measurements as we go. I've got my trusty ruler here just to double check them all. And again, the measurements along with a complete supply list will be in the description of this YouTube video. So if you missed them when we're going along, then just go back there and check them out. Okay. So we're starting with a Starry Sky card base. I love this bright, rich color. This card is just a regular card base, so 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Let's go ahead and give that a fold. And then we'll use the bone folder to make sure it's nice and crisp. All right. So then I'm going to bring in our featured color, the Tahitian Tide. Now let me just double check this measurement. I don't want to give you the wrong one. So this measures 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. Okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to glue that with some Stampin' Seal. We're going to attach that right smack in the middle of this card front. All right. Then for the inside of the card, we've just got a regular card base, which measures 4 by 5 1/4. We're going to go ahead and attach that to the inside of our card. We will be stamping a sentiment on the inside of this one, but we'll do that a little later. For now, I'm going to attach. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to set this aside for a moment, and I'm going to bring in another piece of basic white. This one, let me just double check once again, is 3.5 by 4 3/4. So just 1/8 of an inch smaller than the Tahitian Tide piece. And we're going to stamp our beautiful, detailed, amazing wave stamp. I love this one. We're going to stamp that, and we're going to make that multicolored image that you can see on this front card. Only going to stamp it once, so let me show you how it's done. We're going to start with Tahitian Tide. So for this card, the ink colors we're using are Starry Sky, Tahitian Tide. And we're going to go ahead, oh, look at that beautiful, beautiful ink pad. No staining yet. I love it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we've got that nice and inked up with Tahitian Tide. I did it upside down like that because it's a bigger stamp. I like to make sure we have nice coverage over the whole stamp. Then I'm going to open up my Starry Sky and I'm going to grab a sponge dauber. Now this is one I've already used for Starry Sky, so it's good to go. And I'm just going to ink it up and pop it on. So I'm just going to ink it up and pop it on. So there's no system. I'm not really paying much attention to where I'm putting it, but I'm just getting some of this blue over top of the stamp. Simple, simple. Now I'm going to flip it on over. Oops. And we're going to stamp this right down the bottom. So I'm going to make sure that it's going to cover. Let's stamp that. I'm giving it a little bit of extra pressure. It is a big stamp. I want to make sure there's good ink transfer. Voila! Simple, right? Isn't that gorgeous? I love it. I love how that turned out. Now it does look like maybe some of my stamp didn't quite, oh no, that's how it is. Okay, no worries. It turned out perfectly. So we've got the 2 shades of blue and 1 single stamp. I love that technique. It's so effective and so simple. Okay, so now what we can do is go ahead. Let's attach this newly stamped wave piece right over top of our Tahitian Tide on our card front. And we'll just go ahead. There, now isn't that nice? I love that nice thin little border of Tahitian Tide just to tie it all together. Okay, I've punched out from my retired circle punch just this cute little 1.5 inch circle. I just wanted to double check that. I couldn't remember if I used 1.5 or 1.25. So it is 1.5, and we're gonna go ahead and stick that up there in the corner. So there we've created our moon. And then, as I mentioned before, using those palm dies, they are simply gorgeous. I love the detail in these dies. I've die cut out 2 of the palm trees in basic black. So I'm going to kind of place them on the card how I want them. Just fiddle around with them for a little bit and just see where you like to have them. That looks pretty good. I don't mind that it's overlapping over here. I think that's kind of a cool effect going on to the blue. Okay, so that's, I'm happy with them like that. You can still see the moon popping through. Oops. Popping through. I'm just going to lift that one up a little bit more. There we go. So what I want to do now is, now that I have a kind of an idea where I want them, I'm going to take some mini Stampin' Dimensionals. And I'm just going to take this up. I'm going to put a wee little bit. So I want the top of my tree to be bumped up. Not worrying that that's going down over there. We're going to trim that off in a sec. And then I'll do the same thing on this one. I'll just add a single Stampin' Dimensional little mini guy. And a little strip of glue. And then we're going to raise this one up. I want this one to be a little higher on the card, like so. Pop this out. There we go. Okay, so there's our palm trees. Aren't they pretty? Now I'm going to just take my snips and I'm just going to quickly trim this off. And I'm not going to be super careful because we're going to cover that up anyway. I just don't want it hanging over on top of my blue. Okay, so I've die cut this grass image from the palm dies as well, again in basic black, and that's just going to go over top like so. And I'm just going to glue that straight down. No dimensionals on this guy. Shocking, isn't it? I know. I usually like to put dimensionals on everything. But here we go. We're going to just attach that. Again, not worried that it's hanging over the blue a little bit there. It's all good. Isn't that so pretty? I love how the shadow of the palms and the grass just pops against that beautiful background that we created. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do is I've got just a half, I believe it's 1/2 inch. Oh, it looks a little smaller than that. Probably a 3/8 strip of Tahitian Tide. And I guess I should let you know the length as well. So the length is 4 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp on there with this awesome saying, "Our friendship is a thing of beauty." And I'm going to use Starry Sky to stamp that on top of our Tahitian Tide. I'm just sort of centering it on this piece of... Oh, good. First time. Sometimes I have to flip the paper over and use both sides, especially when it's a red rubber cling stamp. It's a little bit harder to position. Now I'm just going to flag this end. Now you could, of course, you could use the Banners Pick-a-Punch for this as well. I just didn't bring mine in here to film this video. So I'll just do it old school with my scissors, which works fine as well. And then I'm going to pop some dimensionals on this guy. So just a few, probably about 4. As you've heard me say before, I don't like any saggy bits on my cardstock. Actually, it looks like it's going to be a 5. So flick all these off. There we go. And then I'm just going to put it on a diagonal across my trees, across my wave, just like that. And then to finish the card off, I'm going to stamp one last greeting on the inside. And I'm going to show you this one here, this you're so totally awesome. We're just going to get that on our block. We're going to open this card up, ink that up nicely on our starry sky. Voila! Love it. So there is this cute, adorable card. It's super pretty and a simple technique that you can do in, no time flat. 2 colors stamped once. I love it. All right, so as I mentioned before, this is one of the cards in my Tahitian Tide in Color Club. So Tahitian Tide is a color for July of 2022. And I am going to be showing videos and sharing them to my YouTube channel of the other 2 cards as well. So here's the other 2. If you're interested and you liked what you saw today, then please hop on over to my YouTube channel. Check out the homepage and all the videos, and those 2 will be there as well. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought of the video. I'd love to hear from you. Hit subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate all of that. And again, happy stamping. I hope you like this card, and we'll see you again real soon. Cheers.